Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off with Mount Suribachi, Gibraltar of the Japs, talking about the taking of Mount Suribachi and how difficult and what kind of the Americans did to take it. We're now on to Over the Tops of Ewa. February 19th, 1945. Pushing inland. In the face of withering enemy fire, 5th Division Marines inch their ways up a slope from Red Beach 1 on the right wing of the invasion force. Below, a massive wave of the 4th Marines Division digs into the volcanic sand and awaits its turn to move up. A previous wave, almost invisible to the distant battle haze, charges ahead. Note the plane in the upper right. So yeah, you can see these men moving up. They're moving up slow. They're trying to make sure they still have some cover. You never know where the Japanese could be hiding, so move up slow, take some cover. And yeah, this is almost kind of like World War I tactics to a degree. You got men in like a pseudo trench almost. And you can kind of see the men, like they said, of the last wave. They're moving up right there. There is a plane up there, spotting down from ahead. But yeah, these men are waiting their turn. They'll probably be going up next, about to kick off. Backing the attack on Ewa. February 1945. Supplies pour in. Coast Guard manned and Navy landing craft kept a constant flow of supplies coming to the blackened sands of Iwo Jima. Food, munitions, war gear, and medical supplies were only a few hours behind the first assault waves. Here, landing craft are nose up to the beach, their mouths gaping open while soldiers carry and sort the growing heap of materials. Yeah, so you gotta make sure as an attacking force, you have the supplies to continue your attack. Because if you're running out of supplies mid-battle, then you're screwed. The Germans are really showing that on the Western Front. They're running out of supplies, and their entire assault is just nothing's happening. They can't even defend themselves. The Soviets were showing it early on when they didn't really have the supply and things like that. You see time and time again, if you don't have the supply as a force, your attacks are going to be worthless, basically. Because, yeah, you'll have some steam, but you'll blow through that steam real quick. Putting the heat on a Jap. February 1945. Hot spot. A blast of liquid flame is poured into the dugout of a die-hard Jap on Iwo Jima. A 5th Division rifleman crouches in readiness to direct covering fire into the opening. Note the wounded American in the foxhole. In the picture below, Jap fire is climbing the tree above. The head of a Yank who charges forward over the body of a dead Nip. Yeah, you can see they're talking about flamethrowers. Usually what they would do is they would have a flamethrower guy shoot the flames into the opening. Obviously, flames pouring in, the Japanese are going to run out. Maybe, not always. And you have a rifleman there basically to shoot at them, to either shoot at them or maybe make them surrender. Not likely. There's pretty horrible tactics in the sense of like, the Japanese suffered greatly through these, and you don't really think about it, obviously, when you're in war, but the idea of burning someone like this is awful. And yeah, you do have an injured American right there. And yeah, you're going to try to move through whatever. The American soldiers, they did some things that would be considered awful. Obviously, it was war. Japanese aren't. I'm not saying they're free of any blame, but still. The idea of having to use flamethrowers to me is understandable, but I don't necessarily like it. Airmail for leathernecks on Ewa. February 1945. Mail call. Letters from home were a powerful factor in the high morale of our fighting men, and no effort was too great to get their mail to them promptly. Here, jubilant Marines gather parapacks of mail dropped from a transport plane. Large quantities of blood, plasma, necessitated by the high casualties rate, were delivered by the same speedy method. Yeah, getting mail from family does help with morale because it helps, one, bolster, oh, this is what I'm fighting for. I got to fight for them. It also keeps you, that little bit of home. So when you're thinking in these awful battles, and, well, there's that little bit of home still. And, yeah, I mean, mail packs dropped from planes, really useful. Like they said, you can get blood plasma to the front pretty quick with this method. So you're going to use it. Why? If you didn't, you'd be crazy, first off. And I said in the previous video I wasn't sure about if this photo was going to be in it, but it is, and it's nice. Old Glory goes up over Iwo Jima. February 23rd, 1945. Marines plant the Stars and Stripe on Mount Suribachi. Just 4 days after D-Day, this heroic group of Marines of the 28th Regiment, 5th Division, went up 550-foot Mount Suribachi under enemy fire to raise the American flag. Other flags were raised on this blood-stained Pacific island, and the formal flag raising did not take place until March 14th, when Admiral Nimitz took over control of the island as military governor. However, this great picture, taken by Associated Press Joe's Rosenthal, was one of the most dramatic of the war. Yes, and obviously, most people will probably know this is a doctored version of this photo, but this event really did happen. From what we know, it was basically just a drainage pipe that they found. They put the American flag and they put it up. And then later, someone thought, oh, this is going to be a good photo. Probably good old Joe Rosenthal. And so they recreated the picture for the papers. But it's one of those things that, there's even a statue of it and things like that. Putting up Old Glory. It probably boosted the morale of quite a bit of the men to see Old Glory rising. Yanks give the lie to Nazi propaganda. February 1945. Words, words, words. Scrawled by a Nazi propagandist on the walls of a building in Eicht, Holland, are the brave words, 1918, never again. But United States 9th Army signalmen nevertheless go calmly about their business of putting up communication lines to get our own messages through. The first full-scale action in the Netherlands since October was begun early in February by the British and Canadians and the American 9th Army. This was followed up by a full-scale Ruhr offensive, and the whole Western Front began to move forward. In the picture at the right, a hold-up member of the Master Race comes out of hiding to give up to American officer near Link, Germany. I think that's or Linnich? Someone that knows these names a little bit better. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of this propaganda. World War I is one of the main reasons people got into this war even. They didn't want a repeat. The funny mustache man told them a lot of lies. And they're going to believe him. And yeah, they're making a joke about the master race, but they may be a master race, but they're getting beat by a lesser race. Isn't that crazy? Combat engineers span the Oder River. February 23rd, 1945. Seize Bridgehead. The United States 1st and 9th Armies were successful in establishing a bridgehead across the Ruhr River. In their large-scale offensive in February, here, 9th Army engineers of a combat battalion construct a footbridge over the Ruhr near Linz, Germany. By February 26th, the 9th and 1st Armies had merged their crossings into a solid 25-mile strip. Yeah, you're going to need to make up these rivers because you need to get across. And so the engineers are going to have quite the job. And they're going to get the job done. Honestly, one of the things that we don't really talk about enough is the engineers and what they do in this war. You know, we have whole, airfields built in a few days. And it's wild to think of all of the engineering feats. You know, they got this bridge up probably pretty quickly, really. Really good. Putting the pinch on the Nazis. February 24th, 1945. From west and east. Oops, sorry, there we go. As the Russian armies hammered on the Oder River in the east, General Dwight D. Eisenhower set in motion a large-scale offensive towards the Rhine. Above, General Eisenhower with Major General Major General Raymond S. McLean, sorry, long name, on the left, 19th Army Corps Commander, and Lieutenant General William H. Simpson. U.S. 9th Army Commander at the right, confer in the German citadel of Jülich, right there, not really sure how to pronounce that, if anyone does. But yeah, Eisenhower, he was never really a battle commander, but I do think that he did good as an overall commander. He had a good idea for strategy. He wasn't necessarily a under the fire, that kind of commander, kind of like a Patton would be, but he is good for overall command. And I'm glad, and it's good that they put him in this position. Really, he definitely deserved it. Below, Colonel General Zakharov and Marshal Konev, leaders of the Soviet armies, lay plans for encirclement in the east. You can see, yeah, they're planning this. And the Soviets, they're going to crush the Germans. They're going to be circling in on Berlin here soon. And the war will basically be over at that point. There'll be a little bit of cleaning up, but not much. And with that, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I can improve on. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.